Welcome to the Stolen African podcast. I'm the Stolen African. Today, I'm going to tell you about my journey and search for my roots across the continent of Africa. As a diasporan, you quickly realize that you are different. You are sometimes vilified, excluded, or kept at bay simply because of the color of your skin or the perceived notion that other people have about melanated people. So my journey will take me across the continent in search of my roots because I think it's important for all of us to find that foundation, that thing that makes us who we are. I've lived all over the world, and whether I'm in Shanghai, Singapore, New York, Montreal, Toronto, Paris, London, people always ask me, what part of Africa are you from? And the sad part is, I don't know, because most of us from the diaspora, we don't know where we're from. Meanwhile, you'll meet a lot of the other folks where they'll immediately tell you, I'm Irish American, I'm German American, I'm Italian American, I'm Chinese American. But for us, we're not able to trace our roots back to the very source because it has been 400 years since we were stolen and taken to South America, North America, the Caribbean, and all over the place. And we were beaten, exploited, discarded. So it's high time that we reclaim our rightful place in the universe. Let's begin first by this very planet of ours. So I do have a question for you today. What does it mean to you to be an African? What does it mean to you to be an African? Because I know a lot of the diasporans don't even identify as African, which is a crying shame. Because when the other people out there look at you, they only see an African because of this. This right here, melanin, is only found in Africa. That's where it came from. That's the origin. So by denying your Africanness, you're denying yourself. So for me, being an African is first and foremost at the very core of my being. I cannot be other than. I am an African. Though I was not born on the continent, I am wholeheartedly, every atom, every molecule in my body is African. And until we all realize that, we'll forever be disrespected around the world, will be vilified and mistreated. So again, I have a question for you. What does it mean to you to be an African? So by definition, being an African generally refers to being a person who's either born or has ancestry from any of the 54 countries. Remember, Africa has 54 countries. So being from any of the 54 countries that make up the continent of Africa. However, it's important to note that Africa is a very diverse continent with different cultures, languages, and ethnic groups. Therefore, there's no one-size-fits-all answer to this question. But being an African also involves a sense of pride and identification with the history, traditions, and values of the African continent. It is recognizing that the contributions of struggles of ancestors who fought for independence and self-determination, as well as acknowledging the challenges faced by many African nations to this day. To summarize, being an African is a complex and multifaceted identity that encompasses a rich history and culture, as well as a shared sense of belonging and identity among people of African descent. But do we really recognize that? Do we really understand what that entails? So now I have a question for you. What does it mean to you to be an African? Food for thought.